Hi, and welcome to the Femme Fiasco podcast, or welcome back. I'm Venice.
And I'm Autumn.
And don't know why the energy's so high today, because we're actually talking about some crazy shit, so...
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably because we're filming 2 episodes today, so if you see us in these outfits next week, it's just because these outfits are so good, they're simply have to be repeated again.
Imagine if I was like, when you come over to film, you have to bring a change of clothes. Because we have to trick the audience.
We're filming 2 episodes, so you have to change your fucking clothes. Actually, change up your whole look. I'm gonna need you to bring your micellar water and some cotton rounds.
Redo your entire face of makeup. Mm-hmm.
Get rid of it. Take down your hair. I'd like you to redo your hair, please. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks. Well, today on the docket, we are talking about all things quiet on the set. Quiet on set.
I think it's quiet. It's quiet on set.
Quiet on set. So there's gonna be a lot of spoilers. If you haven't watched it, love you so much. Maybe click off this episode, but go watch another one of our episodes and then come back once you've seen all of it. Because I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, for sure. If you haven't seen it yet and you are interested in watching it, you don't want to hear it from us. You don't want us to spoil it. Definitely 110% go fucking watch the original. Like, for sure. It's on Max. Just go watch it. It's super fucking entertaining. It's like, there's a lot of fucking information in there that's actually mind-blowing. Like, we thought it was bad, but, like, it's actually, like, way worse than whatever the fuck I thought. So, it's crazy, and we don't want to spoil it for you guys. So, if you haven't seen it and you're interested in it, go watch another one of our videos. Tune back in whenever you've finished.
Exactly. Also, I mean, if personally me, I had seen all the spoilers on TikTok. I still went and watched Quiet on Set. Still loved it. So, I mean, you could watch this episode and go back and watch it. That's up to you. I personally don't really care about spoilers. I'll still go watch something regardless, but...
It's just, like, we're definitely, like, getting into, like, what we thought about it. And, again, these are our opinions and what we think about the show and what... like the people and all this shit, like, because we will be talking about Drake Bell in a little bit, which like is kind of controversial, but we'll get into that later.
Also, really quickly too, these things that happened, they're like major stories, way more than spoilers. Like, I don't just want to like put people's stories as far as to say that it's just a spoiler. Like, this is real life shit.
Yeah, this is a lot fucking bigger than just like us 2 bitches sitting on like discussing this shit on YouTube. Like, this is
like, this is people's lives, like fully like somebody's full-blown trauma. Like, I can't imagine my trauma being blown up on a fucking TV screen for the entire world to watch. So like
so
with peace and love, we're really trying to be respectful here, but also just give our 2 cents.
Because I mean, everybody fucking else has already given their 2 cents, so we might as well give ours. And again, this is just our opinion. We're not trying to ruffle anyone's feathers.
Which, honestly, I really
doubt we'll ruffle anyone's feathers. If we're ruffling your feathers, you're probably in the wrong.
You're probably part of the problem.
You're probably a part of the problem, but that's besides the point.
Imagine getting mad at us for being like, oh, wow, those predators shouldn't have been on set.
You're like, actually, he wasn't... I knew him personally. He was great.
Oh, yeah, that guy Dan Schneider was super fucking cool.
He was dope as fuck.
Actually,
he was awesome. Which is actually super crazy because this kind of, if you've ever seen our pilot, this is kind of like a full circle moment.
This is like, damn, we were literally shitting on this shit
hard.
Like,
so hard.
And we had to cut so much of that. Like, we thought we were gonna get sued. Like, we didn't even know what Quiet on Set was gonna be,
honestly,
so I cut a lot.
And honestly, probably good that you did cut it, because looking back on it now, we probably would have gotten fucking sued. Like, I feel like, especially now that Dan has nothing better to fucking do with his life, like, he's done with Nickelodeon, like, he can just do whatever the fuck he wants. So, don't sue us, but we will be talking about what is now brought into light that we can, like, legally talk about. Because, bitch, everyone's talking about it right now.
And it's just, I feel so fucking bad. Also, I don't know, I really just can't believe, like, I know everybody's been saying this, I know we're gonna dive a lot more into detail with specifics on everything, but the amount of fucking adults just letting kids down repetitively is actually, like, it's like, who's gonna catch the fade? Is it all of, like, is everybody involved gonna catch?
And for decades, Dan Schneider was in charge of a lot of this shit and it's obviously more than just Dan Schneider, and we'll get into that in a minute, but... Dan Schneider was in charge, like, basically in charge of Nickelodeon for 2 fucking decades.
Which is,
20 years.
Like, say what you will, but, like, I cannot believe that Nickelodeon didn't have a single executive be like, let's go check out set and, like, let's go be there like more and see what the fuck's going on, and maybe not let one person single-handedly run the fucking show and be in charge of so many people's careers. Like, come on.
And it's like, even in the show, a lot of the people were like, the executives really let him do whatever he want. They really let him,
because he was bringing in the money.
And because he was just Dan. They're like, oh, this is just how he works. Like, this is how he creates. This is how he comes up with some of his best work. How we get a lot of our, like, again, the reason nobody checked him is for money. The reason nobody checked anybody in this, and, like, they were essentially, like, whenever they were essentially forced to check and do an inside investigation, which, like, mama, if... It doesn't matter if you're doing an internal investigation. It doesn't matter if you're the fucking police. It doesn't matter if you're the government. It doesn't matter if you're a fucking small business bakery owner and you're doing an internal investigation. Nothing good is going to come out of that because nobody's checking you. Exactly. You're checking yourself.
Exactly.
That's delusion checking delusion.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Absolutely.
That's definitely going to fucking help. Like, so, all the internal investigations and shit like that, and then, like, quietly getting rid of people and, like, making sure it was under the fucking rug. Like, that shit about Jason, Handy, or I think that was his name, Jason Handy, like, that would have been a huge fucking story. 10,000 accounts of CP. Nobody fucking heard about it.
And the
Brian
amounts
Peck,
of physical things he owned.
Insane. Like,
I'm sorry, what?
And then all that shit about Brian Peck, like him literally getting charged and going to court and all this shit, and then you don't fucking hear about it. That's crazy.
That's insane.
It's absolutely insane. So I did watch Quiet on Set pretty recently. And
me too.
I went ahead and took a lot of notes because I was just very enthralled with, like, it's... Again, like, these are people's lives, but it's also just interesting to see the process and to see, like, okay, so how did this all fucking start? Why did it start? Who let this shit happen? Like, why are we letting this happen?
Yeah.
Up until, like, Dan Schneider didn't get let go until 2017.
Which is
that
like
was not that long ago.
7 years ago when he was doing Disney Channel since the 90s.
Yeah, since the 90s.
I'm sorry,
mama.
what? Which also, the thing is, too, is it's like Nickelodeon was still like, oh my god, like, he's our greatest writer writing all of this funny shit, but it's like, the motherfucker's writing sexual innuendos for kids that aren't picking up on it, so it's like...
Like, is he really this...
Yeah.
He's no fucking Shakespeare. Like, everyone's treating him as if he just wrote a sonnet.
Yeah, and it's
like... not write shit. He was like, oh yeah, let's have a fucking child, like, play with fucking pickles and put her feet and shit and have grown men touch your feet.
What a writer. And it's like, how many women writers or even men writers were on set that were co-collaborating with him? Like, you think that all the genius was just him? Of course he's sitting here taking credit for all the women's work too. Like, obviously that's something we're gonna get into, but it's like, there's no way this man is just like all the genius and he's all the glory. Like, bitch, no.
Yeah, which also what I thought was crazy is how Dan would specifically say to these grown women, which also is what I think, this will make sense in a second, like, plays into his grooming tactics. He would go up to these grown women who he, like, is forced to be workers with, and it's just like, women aren't funny, like, degrading them, being horrible to them. But then when he's with Amanda Bynes, oh, he's making her laugh, and she's the funniest person around. She's 10.
Yeah.
A 10-year-old, every 10-year-old I've ever met, they are not fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like, they're kind of funny.
It's like
they're not, like, fucking making me cackle and fucking, like, keel over, and they're like, oh my god, like... So that's definitely, like, him getting in her head, like, hyping her up, like, to make him fucking, like, to make her trust him.
Absolutely. Oh, 100%, because here's the tea, too. You're gonna go shit on all of your female writers that are writing her lines, but she's the one that's funny, and your female writers that are adults and are, like, well-versed in comedy and, like, full-blown...
Have been doing this for, like, years. Have been, like, temping for fucking other, like, comedy shows for years.
But they're
writing
just not
comedy
funny.
Scripts, like, essentially their whole life. They're not fucking funny.
It's like they're literally working day in and day out for you. So what are you writing? Honestly, like, and truly, everybody's been like, oh, Dan Schneider's the writer. What the fuck are you writing?
I think we all know what Dan Schneider's writing.
Just the fucking inappropriate shit? You're making them write the scripts for your fucking sexual innuendos.
I think we all know what Dan Schneider's writing. I think he's made it quite obvious what he's writing and then what everyone else is in charge of.
It's like, yeah, that's funny. On an adult sitcom. Yeah, that's funny. Maybe take it to fucking How I Met Your Mother, bro.
In a room full of adults.
Yeah.
for an adult meant situation.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, dude, yeah, you're
like,
funny, but not with
and even
kids.
in shows like
fuck
that,
you.
whenever they do have kids and shit like that, typically, like, there are so many fucking rules and regulations for child actors and shit like that on set, like, to make sure they're comfortable and to make sure they're safe and shit. Like, so who dropped the ball?
No, but they all did.
Who let the PA be a self-proclaimed pedophile? He wrote that down.
Yeah.
He fully wrote that down in his journal and then said he wants to R-word a little girl, and like, he's like, oh, well, if I can't do it this way, then I'm just gonna do it this way. Like,
which is insane.
If I can't coerce this 10-year-old, I'm just gonna take it. I said, brother, what? And he's in charge of taking all these kids to set. He's the one in charge?
And he's the one, like, walking the kids from, like, set A to, like, set B. Obviously, like, that's not the fucking set names. But, like, he's, like, walking them around, like, fully in charge of the kids. Like, the
knows
teacher
their
that's
schedule.
Yeah. It's like, this is...
Make sure they're on time for everything. That's a production's assistant.
Yeah. Like, he's
so
the one...
they're a step under, like, the fucking, like... They do all the work that the producer doesn't want to fucking do.
Pretty much.
So, you're telling me that that's okay? Like... How did he make it that far? Why is this man in charge of fucking... Why is he out anywhere? Yeah. Why is he literally out in the world anywhere? Why is he not, like, fucking castrated and, like, sent off to, like, Alcatraz or some shit?
Which, I don't feel like anybody in the courts, like, give a fuck enough about, like, sexual assault like that. Unfortunately. Towards men or women. Like, sexual assault in general, they don't fucking care.
Yeah. The fact that... Brian Peck only got, like, what was it, like, 6 years?
Months. No, 16 months.
Oh, 16 months. Yeah, it was something crazy like that.
16 months.
For after everything he did to Drake, and then not even, like, being on house arrest or anything like that, and you guys go and let him back on a whole other set? Brother, what?
Insane. In the videos on the Quiet on Set of him touching Leonardo DiCaprio, I can't even imagine the fuck he was doing if that's what was caught on camera.
I definitely, like, also want to get into a little bit of that, so... As I mentioned, I did watch basically all of it yesterday and, like, last night. So I took a lot of fucking notes on what
Yeah, we can start from the top.
Yeah, what I found, like, interesting and just things that, like, definitely stuck out to me. The first one that I wrote down was the name Quiet on Set in general. I think it's a very genius name. It's, like, not only is it obviously, like, oh, Quiet on... Like, it's obviously a fucking director term or whatever, but it's, like... It's also at the same time, like... You're forced to be quiet on this set. Yeah. You're, like, forced not to. These fuckers have signed, like, NDAs and shit. Like, it's just now. Yeah. Dan Schneider's been in charge of Nickelodeon for 20 years. Yeah. The motherfucker wrote Good Burger, was in the movie. Brian Peck was in the movie. Yeah. I didn't even know that until I watched the fucking thing. I was like...
I know, it puts a lot
like,
of light
a movie I've seen
a
trillion times.
Yeah.
A movie I've seen a trillion times. Which is also interesting that was his only ever... like, product with a majority, like, not a majority black cast, but a black, like protagonist. Very interesting. Yeah. Interesting how that works. I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, not very good. But, so I think the name in itself is it, like, works on a lot of levels. I think it's genius.
Oh, absolutely.
And I hope the people that are talking about are actually getting their fucking bag. Because, Mama, if you're going to if you're going to, like, publicize my trauma... I better be getting a bag off of this fucking shit. Like, absolutely.
Pay me my money, bitch.
Yeah, bring me my check. Another thing I wrote down was the reason my mom wouldn't let me watch specific Nickelodeon shows. My mom would not let me watch iCarly. I was not allowed to watch iCarly, I think, until I was, like, fucking, like, 12. Like, fully not. And then, even then, my mom hated it. She always hated that show, and which is such a shame because she loves Jeanette McCurdy, she loves Miranda Cosgrove, she loved Jerry Trainor, like, she loved all the actors in there. Freddie's mom, who was, like, in other... She loves her. Couldn't fucking stand the show. Yeah. And I think it was, like, that was also in the era of, like, him kind of trying to get his footing. It was after the Amanda show, trying to get his footing back into, like, a child comedy, and she just knew something wasn't right. She fucking hated it. So I never watched, like, iCarly and shit like that. I was only ever allowed to watch specific episodes of The Amanda Show. I only think there was, like, a couple I was allowed to watch that my mom had already seen.
I think I might have seen a few episodes with my sister, but I really don't remember watching much of the Amanda Show. It was a lot of
loved
Drake and
the Amanda
Josh and
Show.
iCarly and Victoria's, like the newer Nick. Like I didn't watch all that either.
I didn't watch
Like,
all that, but I loved the Amanda Show. I was like pretty obsessed with it. Because she was this super fucking pretty like teenage girl doing all this funny comedy shit, which
Yeah.
it's like, again, looking back on it, it makes me feel almost complicit in. It's like I'm sitting here. And again, I know I shouldn't feel that way because it's like, oh, those are just memories from my childhood. But now looking back on it, it's like those memories are like fucked forever.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
Fully knowing what was happening to her, and then
Yeah.
her, like, that shit's just crazy to me. Like, I don't know.
And the
I
other
don't
people on
think I'd
set,
watch it
because
again.
Drake and Josh were on the Amanda
Yeah,
Show
Drake
as
and
well.
Josh were on the Amanda Show as well. Fuck that one.
Because everything that was
Giovanni.
happening to Drake was during the Amanda Show. Like he hadn't
Yeah.
even started filming Drake and Josh yet.
Yeah, and then that was because, like, to make him feel better, basically, it was like the promise of the Drake and Josh or whatever. And then he got it, which is, again, besides the point. But that was just another one of the things I wrote down. And this was before I had watched the show. So then, what I was watching the show, Amanda missing school to help write with Dan.
And everybody just saying like, oh, like Amanda and Dan would just randomly disappear.
As well as like Amanda's dad being on set. And I just want to basically talk about like Amanda Bynes for a second.
Oh yeah, we totally should get into this.
So I think it's very odd, and obviously something was fucking going on, that it's only Amanda's dad is on set. No other adults are like allowed to have interference with their child's stardom. That's very fucking odd to me. And like parents
same.
were like banned from the set or whatever. And how he was okay with letting Amanda go and write comedy
Yeah.
with Dan and go, and like there was another thing that I had written down and which kind of tied into it as well. It's let me see. Oh, how fuck, what was it? Yeah, parents not allowed on the set. Okay, those all just kind of tie in together, I guess. I should have. I like started to like write my notes a little bit better as I was getting into it, but I was just enthralled with the first episode that caught me off guard. But I think it's very fucking interesting that you're having a child miss school, but then all the rest of these kids are going and doing school. Only her dad is allowed to be there, but I'm thinking in the headspace, if I were a child actor, if I were on the Amanda Show, so my mom's not allowed to come on set, but like Amanda is, she's getting the special treatment. Like there's even the video like where they're like, oh, Amanda's the star, da-da-da. Like they made it very clear, which is fine because we get it. It is quite literally the Amanda Show, but to treat other children the way they treated them, and then to also disregard Amanda's like fucking school,
Your like education and
yeah,
stuff like
straight
that.
up like be like, oh no, that's not important. Like I beg to fucking differ.
Yeah.
I beg to fucking differ.
Well, it's also like, what were they doing? Because like fully, well, I mean, they made it clear on Quiet on Set they love to break the child labor laws. So like, for example, like all of these kids and their parents, like they wanted their children to grow up and like have these careers, like get their families out of the hoods and like everything be all holly jolly, whatever the fuck. But then all of a sudden the producers and Dan are like, oh, are you guys good to film an extra few hours? And everybody's kind of looking around like, I guess if mom says it's okay, we'll break child labor laws again. So it's like, of course Dan's gonna fucking
Which,
break the
at
fucking
that point, it's
education laws to go fucking
yeah,
do
you're
whatever the
also
fuck he
like
wants with
kind
this
of
girl.
manipulating the parents in that sense where it's like, oh, it's just a few more hours. Like we just really need this scene, and then it becomes a few more hours. Then it becomes a few more hours.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they're filming for like 6 hours after wrap time.
Yeah.
And their children. Then it's 8 hours after wrap time.
It's like
and
kids
their
shouldn't be on
children.
set that long at all.
Fucking no. Fucking no.
No.
Like there are reasons that there are these laws in place for this kind of shit not to fucking happen, but fuck it, right?
Yeah.
Fuck all of it, right? That's
Which
just
is
wild.
Which is fucked up. And also, I know we were talking about this a little bit earlier, like off cam, but there was an account in 2016 where Amanda had been like posting her ID and posting being like, I'm in a conservatorship, like my parents aren't letting me, like my parents and my management have all control of my Amanda Bynes accounts. I can't post on them. Like I don't have control of those accounts. So she allegedly makes another account going by Ashley Banks. And allegedly, this was supposed to be like Amanda Bynes, and she's like posting pictures of her ID and everything, like fully her driver's license onto this Twitter account, trying to be like, it's me, it's me. One of the tweets she says, which goes along with what you were saying about the dad, is, can you imagine having an abortion at 13 because your boss impregnated you, committed because your father touched you? Like verbatim on the Twitter, like that was what was posted. Me personally, in my opinion, I believe it was her. Because who in 2016 was fucking talking about Amanda Bynes? Like, nothing was going viral. Who the fuck would randomly have, like, a picture of her ID at that very moment in time and, like, was gonna go off on all this shit that's never been told?
And to know all these, like, very specific details about her life,
There was a lot. There were a lot of tweets.
It's not even a coincidence. Like, it's too close. They're too similar. If it fucking walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, bitch, it's a duck. Yeah,
and then listen to this,
It's definitely Amanda.
And then listen to this. On this article, it also says, I totally just accidentally scrolled all the way up, so let me find it really quick. But it's talking about, because you know how, like, Dan would always, like, sneak shit into his scenes that, like, might have been a little bit, like, breaking, like, personal life or, like, making fun of people? Mm-hmm. So there was a scene that was on the Amanda show, I believe. And a lot of people are speculating that this scene was to, like, purposefully mock Amanda for the alleged, like, abortion and like, her having a kid and everything. Or not having a kid, but the abortion and being impregnated. Mm-hmm. So, it states in this article right here, in one episode, there was a pretzel guy. He interrupts the show while it's filming live. He offers to throw in a free baby if she lets him feed the snack to the entire audience. Okay? And this is like a full-blown episode. And then, a part of this scene, the pretzel guy interrupts the set, and Amanda asks him to leave because they're filming, and he says, on an empty stomach? And so, in this, it says, her demeanor instantly changes. They were mocking her, and she knew it. Question mark, question mark, question mark. So, like, and Dan was, like, notoriously known for writing shit like that into his scenes, so it's like...
And it's also, like, they were doing a lot of filming with live studio audience at... live studio audiences around that point. Mm-hmm. And, like, the whole thing about the Amanda show is, like, sometimes the audience was real, sometimes, like, some of the people in the audience were fucking real.
Like, SNL,
it's some are real, some are fake, you know? So, how much do you want to bet that it was a whole thing that was not fucking told to her, and then it was just supposed to be, like, a joke?
Yeah.
Because if it was ran by her, she would have been like, oh, that's not fucking cool. Like, I'm not cool with that. Like, I'm 13. I just fucking went through this super traumatic experience. Like, and now you want to mock me for it? Like, thanks to you, I went through this super traumatic experience, and now you want to make a joke out of it.
And I'm literally making your fucking yearly salary being on this stage right now, and you're making fun of me.
Yeah.
While I'm fucking writing your check practically right now.
It's cool. Absolutely insane.
Like, that's fucked up.
That's ridiculous. I've never seen that episode, and now I don't fucking ever want to. That sounds...
Probably a reason your mom didn't show you that one.
Yeah. Because that's the reason my mom didn't show me a lot of things.
Yeah. Because after Quiet on Set, I went on a deep dive, and I was like, holy shit. And there were a lot of tweets about, like, her saying she was in a conservatorship. I mean, like I said, this is all alleged because these were, I mean, tweets from an account that wasn't verified by her.
So,
but you never know.
You never know. But, I mean, in our personal opinion, we think it was her.
In my opinion, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because here's the tea, like, in 2016, like, she was so far dead off of the scene. Like, of course, at this point, she's, like, probably freaking the fuck out. 5 other
viral things that were happening in 2016. Amanda Bynes would not be on that fucking list.
No.
Like, fully. By that point, she was no music, no movies, no new up-and-coming projects.
No, she retired at 24.
So, who would want to cosplay Amanda Bynes just for fun? Just to say that.
Yeah. Exactly.
That seems like you're going a little bit far. And I know people online like to troll and go far for the bit. This is not...
But in 2016...
It doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, especially in, like, I feel like in 2016...
That's also not how bits were in 2016. Yeah. Now, if someone were to do that, I don't know if I would believe it. But in 2016, oh,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, if it was now and someone like had a random Twitter pop up and it's like, oh, I'm actually this celebrity, blah, 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 blah. It's like, people would obviously look at that weird. I'm sure people looked at it weird in 2016 because nobody fucking believed her anyways. But it's like, again, who in 2016, like, that was never the meme of the time. That was never how jokes were done in that time.
Yeah, well, 2016 was also 18. It was 8 years ago. Like, AI wasn't that good. Like, obviously, like, Photoshop and certain things were, but, like, for her to post a picture of an ID, like, that doesn't look fake to me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Looks
like,
pretty legit.
Like, if she's really out there trying to be like, hello, this is my story, everybody's been calling me crazy. If I was in her position, I would probably be like, what else can I do to validate this is me? Let me post a picture of my ID. Like, that makes the most fucking sense in, like, my girl brain. Like, I would do that too.
Especially coming from a whole life of her, like, having unfortunate, like, addictions and shit like that and going in and out of, like, rehab and, like, it's just, at that point, people already didn't fucking believe her and shit like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, if that was me, what the fuck do I have to lose?
Exactly.
Like, people are already sitting here and calling me fucking crazy just for, like, existing. Exactly. And being like, no, like, this shit happened, and they're calling me crazy. Like, oh, no, he's a good guy. Like, by that point, like, a couple years ago, it was, like, the 2014 Kids' Choice Awards, and all the people were like, Dan Schneider's fucking awesome. He's great. He's a great guy. Super funny. Super cool. Imagine being Amanda.
Yeah.
Which also...
Totally.
Jeanette was
like
not
Jeanette,
that one.
Or even like Miranda or any of them. I mean, even Jerry Trainer like had to stick up for the girls half the time. Like there's videos of Dan Schneider just punching fucking Jerry Trainer in the balls just for fun.
Yeah.
It's I'm sorry, huh?
I actually saw
That's
a video
sexual
of Jerry
assault.
Trainer today because a couple minutes ago we were talking about how he would like to break child labor laws. There's videos of him like, first of all, getting in between like him and Miranda, or getting in between him and Jeanette, or him and any of the boys and shit like that. And then there's another video where he's like, Dan, let us go home. Like, Dan, we're tired. We want to go home. Let us go home. Which is crazy because I've only seen two... In the whole entire show of Quiet on Set, first of all, I only saw one man who was on set, like, who was supposed to be in charge of those kids who actually gave a fuck. And one person who was actually in the shows who, like, gave a fuck, who wasn't a child. The rest of these...
one director and Jerry Trainer.
Yeah.
Much,
The rest of these adults... didn't care. The cameraman was like, yeah, I mean, I was uncomfortable filming it, but it's Dan.
Yeah. I will say the one parent, the parents that I do fuck with were Drake Bell's dad, from what we've seen, and then also, you know,
the black kid's mom.
Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say. From all that when he had the noses on his shoulders.
Thank God
she was
for
a
her.
fucking
She
queen.
was riding for him.
And it was to the point where he even knew if like I say certain things to my mom that I don't like, she'll pull me away from this.
Yeah.
But I want to take our family out the hood.
I know,
which
it's
is so
so
fucking sad. That like it literally makes me want to cry. Like,
That's like unfortunate as fuck. It's like these kids just trying to, first of all, just trying to get their break and trying to like do something that they love. They think they're getting into something really fun. Looking at it on TV, like, again, I watched the Amanda Show. It's like,
I want to be on
I
that show
want to
so
be on the
bad.
Amanda Show. Like, that looks like fucking fun. Did I?
No.
Did I really?
Fully not. Any of Dan Schneider's
And, like,
shows.
even whenever, like, on the show, they're asking all these child actors, they're like, so would you let your child be a child star? Every single one of them didn't even have a second thought. They all said no.
Yeah.
All of them. All of them. They said no. Nope.
Which is
That's
like
very telling.
yeah. Which I mean,
very fucking telling.
it makes sense because it's like you get to be a kid once, so be a kid and then go be an actor when you're an adult.
Exactly.
Like I get it fully, especially after everything that those kids went through and endured, and the fact that like even the laws didn't do anything.
Yeah.
The
laws that are
didn't do
supposed to
shit
help
for those kids.
Yeah,
like,
are
that's
supposed to help
crazy.
like keep these kids safe. It's like,
and the parents, half the fucking parents didn't care.
Yeah, ain't nobody doing shit about it.
Yeah.
All these other adults on the set who you like. It's also very telling that the only person that Drake felt safe to tell about what happened was Dan.
Because here's my theory. I feel like people that are pedophiles, if they're like, say like Dan is straight, right? of course he's gonna pretend to be like the protective one, so he can have that hero complex in his mind of like, oh well, I helped Drake though.
So then
and then, like,
everything that
reversed
ever,
with Brian Peck, he was really nice with the girls, everything.
So then
for
whatever
that hero
happened-
complex, but then whatever I do with Drake is fine because I was nice with the girls.
whatever happened with Amanda at that point like becomes null because
I was nice with
here.
Drake.
I was here for Drake when he was going through it. So, that's crazy. That should never happen. It's like that's the pot calling the kettle black. Like you're straight up being like, no, that's totally fucked up. That's gross. That's nasty. So Amanda, 13-year-old Amanda, like, whoa. How about we get in this hot tub for my next scene that I've prepared for the two of us?
Which is crazy. And I feel like psychopaths always will have that random hero complex of being like, well, I did this. Do. So just because the rest of the stuff doesn't matter because I did do that.
See, and they, at that point, I feel like psychopaths need that to fucking survive because then they sit with the fucking guilt. Yep. It's like they do one good thing out of their 1,000 terrible things and they're like, but I did this one thing though.
Yep.
It's like, so you did the right thing one time.
So yeah, you should have that every other time.
You know who else does the right thing? Fucking children.
Yeah.
Like children do the right thing a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And they do the wrong thing sometimes too, but it's like, so you want me to give you basically the same praise I would give a fucking child for doing the right thing. Like putting like tying their shoes.
Yeah. When you have literally like
good for you.
30 years of life experience on these goddamn kids, like that's wild.
Yeah. Like
that's wild.
Like snaps and claps for you, like wow, you helped a horrified fucking teenage boy like still have not that good of a life.
But also it's on the contrary of that, it's like, okay, Dan knew that Drake was going to be a star and he was really talented, and that if he becomes the star of this show that's already fucking been kind of curated from the Amanda show, like, it's going to do good. I'm going to make good money. So let's get him comfortable so he's good to fucking film again.
It always comes back to money, and that's also what I was thinking. It's like, I feel like Dan probably tried to make him I don't know. I don't know what he ever said to him, but again, maybe he tried to, this is just my thoughts, maybe he tried to lessen it in his mind. Well, it's like, well, he's gone now, so you'll be safe, and we have this whole show set up for you. You're gonna be the star. Exactly. I feel like he was there's been so many fucking, like, literally everybody who worked for Dan said he was manipulative. There's not a doubt in my mind that he wasn't trying to manipulate Drake to stay.
Oh, for sure.
And it clearly worked.
Oh, absolutely. Being like, oh, but you'll get so much more money, and you'll be not only a series regular, but you're the star.
Yeah, you're gonna have your own spin-off.
Yeah, you're not just
your own show. Your name's first.
You know, like, it's not just you're a 10 out of 13 episodes. You're 13 out of 13 episodes of the season, babe. Like, you're
coming back for season 2. Yeah. Like, you are the fucking star.
Yeah, because even on, like, Wizards of Waverly Place, like, David DeLuise, he wasn't on every episode of Wizards of Waverly Place. Like, people that are really big stars of that show, they weren't on every single episode. Exactly. Like, Drake's got every fucking episode of Drake and Josh. He's on every goddamn episode.
His name is on that bitch.
Yeah.
His name
like,
is
fully.
on that bitch.
So, of course, with a little bit of manipulation and making him feel a little bit safer, he's gonna be on the show.
I know that we're also talking about, like, this is just a little bit of a side tangent that I want to go off on. I find it very crazy that whenever Ariana Grande wanted to go off and, like, do her pop thing for Sam and Cat, she was just allowed to, like, up and leave. But whenever Jeanette's mom fucking died, Jeanette goes back a week later to start filming again, back on set. Which I fully not okay. Mom died from 17 years of battling with cancer. Your mom and I get it. Her mom was shitty.
Dan Schneider probably didn't know that, though. Like, didn't know the extent of the relationship like that. Like, as far as Dan knows, like, that's her mom, that's it.
But here's the thing. As far as Dan knows, that's her mom. Still called her back. Yeah. She was not allowed to, like, so...
Because it's, like, the contract, but Ari got to break contract.
So Ariana's allowed to go, and then you're going to film an episode of her in a box, talking through a box, and she can just send in her lines on a plane. But Jeanette's mom just fucking died.
And mind you, this was for Ariana. It was like for like the VMAs. It was like an award show.
How could you even? I don't even know how you would go through dealing something like that. Like, after, first of all, losing a parent seems very fucking hard. I don't know how I'd ever think about, like, that shit is insane to me. I don't like thinking about it.
Future me can deal with that. Sorry. Yeah.
Especially if you have such an intense relationship with your mom that Jeanette did, where it's like a fucking abusive relationship. It's like, and then she dies. How do you fucking go about that? Like, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about your, like, who knows what she's going through?
Yeah.
How would you feel about yourself? How would you feel about literally fucking anything anymore? Like, it would really be a complete mind fuck. And then to have her back on set and no, you're not allowed to break contract.
Which is absolutely insane. And I feel like that's where the whole, like, Dan favoring people, which they talk about on Quiet on Set, like, oh, if you're favored, you get certain perks, you get more lines, you, like, he'll work with you more.
Yeah.
That's where that comes into play, because I feel like, especially when you watch the videos of Dan harassing Jeanette, she, like, you can tell on her face she's not really taking it, and I feel like Dan could pick up on that vibe that she wasn't receptive of his his abuse, right? But Ari's making all these videos, doing all this shit, and he's obviously attracted to Ariana Grande, so he's gonna let her go fuck off. But Jeanette's put up a little bit of a hostile vibe here.
But
so
she's made it clear that, like,
it's like the
that
backside
shit
of Dan.
doesn't really faze her. It's like, it's been clear to her that since she, like, the minute I feel like that she stepped foot on the iCarly set, that she was gonna be the odd one out. So I feel like she took a lot of what Dan did with a grain of salt, which she did not have to fucking do at all. Like, bitch, what he was doing to you was bad and abusive and horrible. You are fully allowed to deal with that and fucking, but, like, she just didn't have the same responses. No. So he would always, like, I feel like, especially take it further with her and try and egg her on more and, like, just nasty. Just nasty.
Exactly. And I genuinely feel like it was that also favoritism, because me personally, I think Jeanette McCurdy is fucking beautiful.
Love her.
I feel like personally with Ariana Grande, she fits more of, like, the social beauty standard, which I feel like Dan fell into with, like him, like, being
grooming
a predator with
girls,
like Amanda Bynes and, like, all those girls that had the very same like kind of look, because they both have, like, that same facial structure, that same, like, head almost. So I feel like that's why Ari was favored. It was like, oh no, like, you can do whatever you want, like, go ahead. But Jeanette, no, fuck you. And that's again where it comes in, where it's extra creepy, because it's like, if you're favoring kids over their, like, looks and, like, it's certain attributes,
you're
that's
fully
disgusting.
A director. Like, what are you even doing?
And, like, a writer and, like, a creator.
Like, what are you even
like, all
doing,
of your shows have
bro?
stamped created by Dan Schneider, so you can't even help out the people that are making your fucking bag. It's crazy. Because
it's absolutely ridiculous.
Also, tell me if you felt this way too, but when Sam and Cat aired, I always had a weird vibe from it. It's like iCarly, I had fun, Victoria's had fun, whatever. As soon as Sam and Cat aired, I did not. It was super eerie to me.
I think it was also because by that point, he was banned from fucking working on any of his sets anymore. Because whenever Nickelodeon had done their internal investigation, they of course found nothing sexual, but there were just some, like, slight cases of, like, some, like, minor overworking, just, like, a little bit of, like, maybe a hostile work environment, like, maybe slightly abusive. So he just, like, wasn't allowed on set anymore.
Even though he's fully
like, yeah, you fucking come over here. I'm not gonna call you women by your fucking names. Like, oh, like, I'm gonna fake punch a fucking 14-year-old.
Yeah. Or, like, these other...
What?
Yeah. Or these other women or these other people being like, oh, I overheard that this is a sex joke. This is supposed to be a cum shot joke. Or these other women writers being like, oh, no, Dan told us this is actually an entire inside joke. We're not supposed to spill the beans on the fact that this is a sexual innuendo.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, babe, you were. Like, don't even fucking
like,
play
you're
right
fully,
now.
Yeah, you're fully know exactly what the fuck you're doing, dude.
Which, I've had a lot of these moments on my own, but imagine how sad it was to, like, be on Nickelodeon, you think you're having such a good fun time, and, like, I'm specifically talking about the Zoe 101 scene where it was supposed to be, like, the cum shot on Jamie Lynn Spears' face.
I couldn't watch that.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch a lot of
but,
that,
like,
actually.
Imagine, like, thinking you're having fun on this set and, like, being a star, and then you're slowly getting depressed because of this thing, right? And then you grow up and you've heard all of this shit, you're not quite sure what it means because you're a kid, and you go back and rewatch something, and all of a sudden you get this memory of just, like, being like, that was supposed to be a cum shot joke, and I heard people on set say that.
Yeah, like, even
that's
the male
insane.
co-stars knew.
Like, I've had my own of those memories and, like, those instances, and you're just like, yeah, it's not fun.
It's, like, almost like a Twilight Zone type of shit, where it's like, you get almost, like, brought back, and you're like, oh, that did fucking happen. That wasn't fucking okay. Like, the people who were supposed to look out for me weren't. Like, it really just, like, crumbles everything. It's crazy. It's really fucking unfortunate. And if you guys are on the video version, you can see all the notes. I don't even think we'll be able to get through all these notes. We talked about a lot of them, just like kind of bantering and going back and forth. But another one I wrote down was, here, I'll just go off. So we were talking about Virgil a little bit, who was one of the directors who eventually, he got let go kind of early on. But he was, again, one of the only men who I think gave a fuck about the kids.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's so like,
sad.
Though the only one who's, like, trying to get these people to, like, stop being abusive to fucking children gets let go. Gets let go faster than Dan and doesn't get $7 million because of it.
Makes perfect sense.
Makes perfect. It, honestly, watching Virgil, it gave me, like, real life, almost BoJack Horseman vibes. Like, Dan Schneider's BoJack Horseman, and, fuck, I can't remember the other guy's name, but there's a guy in the show who, like, Herb. And, like, Virgil is completely Herb. Like, gives a fuck, like, actually is trying to do some good. Then some shit happens and he gets let go. And then this person can continue to just be, like, an abusive, horrible person, but nobody cares and everyone's gonna shit on this guy for forever, how long it takes, and then just get rid of him.
Okay, it's like, okay, good, perfect.
Like, yeah, let's
like,
get rid of the only
obviously that was the
person.
agenda. Like, obviously you guys were meaning to do that. And also, like, while you're pulling up the next thing too, really fast, I want to say with Brandy's mom. I don't even fucking know this dumb bitch's name, but
her name is MJ.
MJ. So I'm gonna call her MJ.
Yeah, the only reason I know her name is because I, like, went back to find it, because I, like, refuse to fucking, like, I'll only call her this once. I refuse to call her Brandy's mom because I feel like she did Brandy so fucking dirty.
Yeah.
You, like, not all parents deserve kids. All kids deserve parents, but not all parents deserve kids. She's one of those fucking bitches. You're telling me this fucking predator sent just lewd photos of himself. Your daughter's in her room bawling, freaking the fuck out, crying, and you're having an internal debate with yourself on whether you should call the police?
Yeah.
Mama, what?
Yeah, wait, can I also pause you on that too?
Fucking
Do you
crazy.
know how fucking psycho my parents would have gone knowing I was even emailing an adult for over a week? Let alone her letting it go for months?
Bro. And she was
for
like...
months? I'm sorry, months?
And her daughter was only... She said her daughter was, like, 11.
Like, if my parents knew, like, I get, like, here's
11.
the thing. I get if this guy was like, okay, here's my contact info. Here it is, mom. You can email me for any other further projects since your child is not 18.
I think it's inappropriate even to be messaging her and being like, yeah, like, you did really good on this week's episode and da-da-da-da. Or, like,
that's what I'm saying. It should have gone to mom. The email should have gone to mom.
Everything should always go to the fucking parent. Like,
absolutely.
That's absolutely insane to me. Why are you trying to... Oh, you...
Like, why didn't...
Your mom can definitely relay that message.
Yeah, like, why wasn't MJ the one taking the email and being like, no, I will further be emailing you. This is my adult contact info. You can contact me if you know anything further. Like, you're just a cunt. You just want fucking time.
Yeah, she just wants to... I mean, she
my
said
5 seconds of fame.
She even said it, the first thing she said whenever they put her on, she was like...
I've always wanted to be an actress.
I've always wanted to be a star.
And bitch, you were.
I've always wanted to be...
And you never were.
You never were, and you got your child hurt for it. Like, was it worth it?
Yeah, now you're wrinkly, ugly, disgusting, and now your child is traumatized.
Yeah, and now
congratulations.
Everybody fucking hates you. I was seriously, when I was sitting there and she's like, she starts tearing up over, she's like, do I call the police? I was like, yes! What do you mean?
That, like, actually is
what do
so
you
infuriating.
mean, do I call the police? Absolutely you call the fucking police. That is why is that even a question?
I would be, like, as I'm on the phone with the police, like, holding the phone in my fucking shoulder to my ear, like, making copies on my fucking computer of everything, just fucking in case.
Yeah.
Like, I would printing shit out.
I would have
what?
proof to the moon, mama.
Yeah.
Even of the non-sexual emails. I would give these fuckers literally everything. I'd be like, here's a timeline. This is what she was on. Like, why would you ever fucking do that to your child?
And I would do this for anyone in my family members, let alone my baby.
And then years later, to have the police reach out to you and be like, yeah, he was arrested for being a fucking pedophile, and we saw a plastic bag with your daughter's name on it in his house. So now you want to come forward once somebody else has already come to you and they said, yeah, so we're going to go to court and there'll be cameras in the courtroom. So now that you can, like, do your hair and, like, get all nice and gussied up and, like, go and do your big one, go do your big 15 minutes of fame, now it matters.
Yeah.
didn't matter a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever your daughter was distraught,
Yeah.
didn't know what to do, probably thinking it's her fault. Like, and the way that MJ talks about her daughter in past tense and everything, it's like her daughter just for sure fucking gotten rid of her. Like, there is for sure some no contact shit going on. Like,
absolutely.
I doubt she even goes by Brandy anymore. I fucking doubt it.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I bet she's changed her name. I bet she's moved far as fuck away.
Mm-hmm.
But she's never even, like...
Absolutely.
And because of her mom, like, you are a bad person. You are fully a bad person.
Yeah.
Like, some of these parents on set gave a fuck. You are not one of them.
Yeah.
And, like, some of them could only give so much of a fuck or whatever, and I feel like some of them still dropped the ball a little bit. You didn't even attempt to catch the ball.
Yeah.
You let the ball go over your fucking head.
Yeah, do you want to know what's the saddest fucking part that pisses me the fucking... Ooh, this, like... Oh my god, this pisses me off so bad. Is if... You know how she said that, like, later down the road with this same guy, somebody else's daughter, it had gone too far and she actually had gotten fully SA'd?
Mm-hmm. And that's the only reason you got, like, arrested. Mm-hmm. The parents were, like, letting him over to their house.
Imagine if she would have reported the guy when it first happened. Maybe that little girl would have been saved. Maybe if you would have reported
maybe he would
this
have been
guy...
on the registry. Maybe he wouldn't be allowed near, like, these types of places anymore, which fully. I don't have much faith that he wouldn't be allowed near Nickelodeon sets. But it would at least be out there. It would at least be documented. Like,
for sure.
I would be telling everybody all the time, do not work with these people. Like,
absolutely.
If they have one pedophile on the set, you can fucking guarantee there's 3 or 4 more.
Yeah.
Just barely.
Yeah. And then she's trying to be like, and then after that, I pulled my daughter from Nickelodeon and I never let her touch the industry ever again. Okay, but because you did so much. Yeah, because you were such a protective parent.
Yeah, because you really cared so much. Yeah, you really gave so much of a fuck.
But you were willing to let it go as far as her getting disgusting emails. And mind you, we don't know how the producers or the editors cut this. We don't know what she said. We don't know what she was willing to share. You never know if there were more disgusting emails other than the one that was sent.
This is just what was aired and what was shown.
Exactly.
And being
told, there could have been more.
Like, first of all, if I were a mother and not to call the police, I would have so much fucking guilt. And then to have the police call you later on and be like, yeah, this pedophile has baggies with a bunch of girls' names on it, but your daughter specifically, we found a baggie with her name on it. There was another girl's baggie with a 6-year-old pair of underwear in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But it's like, so then they came to the one where it's like, it had Brandy's name on it with the letters that they had, like, exchanged and shit like that. So it's like, if I were a mom to receive that call, I would be fucking vomiting, shitting, crying. Like, I would literally set myself on fire.
Yeah.
I would feel fucking disgusting.
Especially...
It had to go that far. This guy is keeping fucking plastic bags and, like... fully like a fucking filing cabinet of little girls.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying is with that very first email or the email that was sent where he was sending nude pictures and like literally in writing saying how he wanted to sexually assault other women and other girls, that would have been enough to probably start an investigation on him to where maybe other girls wouldn't have been hurt. So fuck you for not saying anything. The fuck are you doing? Yeah, and I'm sorry.
By that point, like, maybe who knows, maybe he wouldn't have had a chance to get this insane amount of CP, like 10,000 accounts of CP. 2 of them, like, CP goes beyond just porn.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the porn industry, it's a very murky industry. It depends. Sometimes you can actually, like, make money and, like, do good and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's fucking whatever, but CP, first of all, is never fucking okay in any fucking sense, but it hurts the child forever.
Mm-hmm.
Forever. Like, it goes beyond porn. It's beyond the porn realm. Like, this is a whole other category.
I mean, dude, look at fucking
everything.
Look at Drake Bell or even all the randos on Intervention. Like, how many of them went to fucking drug abuse and serious fucking, not drug abuse, but like drug addiction,
alcoholism,
just so addictions. Much because of severe childhood trauma, especially to do with sexual activity. Like, That's not fucking cool. And, like,
it's truly fucking
and none
sick.
of these adults realize they're just absolutely stealing the innocence of these fucking children.
and
Like, absolutely stolen.
It was honestly very fucking, like, you could, whenever they were showing just Amanda throughout the years, it was so sad to see, like, the fucking life be just drained out of her face.
You can see it on her face and on the red carpets and shit too. Even
when you compare 10-year-old Amanda in the Laugh Factory going like, "Oh, I had a pimple on the inside of my nose," hee hee, to 16-year-old Amanda on like a runway for whatever the fuck, like her like Big Fat Liar or whatever. It's like, she's not okay.
No, you can fully
She's
tell.
not fucking okay.
You can like fully tell.
She's not the same person she was.
Yeah.
Which is so fucking sick and twisted.
And that's what happened to so many of these fucking Disney and like Nickelodeon stars and even child actors like forever, like Corey Feldman, like people that were in Stand By Me, like old ass films that were filmed in the 80s.
Yeah,
and
like
shit.
this shit's been going on forever. And this is just from the 90s and like around like early to mid 2000s.
Yeah, I feel like the 70s to the 2000s were the worst for children actors, unfortunately. Like that 40-year span was just like kids getting
and probably fucked. Honestly even before that too, because like Shirley Temple, fucking Judy Garland, people like that, where it's just like
women in the industry, whether they were children or not. Yeah. Like it didn't fucking matter.
Like making a developed Judy Garland like tape down her fucking breasts to make her appear younger is crazy. For Wizard of Oz is crazy.
Well, everything they did on Wizard of Oz, all of it was just cynical. Everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
Everything. That entire fucking set was
First
sick.
of all, the fucking... I don't know. We'll have to get into Wizard of Oz another day, because Wizard of Oz is also one of my favorite movies.
Same, but it's a whole fucking... Dude, we could do what we just did right here with a whole 50 minutes on fucking
We could give y'all... If y'all want the tea about Wizard of Oz, because it's one of my favorite movies, but it is extremely, like, insane to, like, fucking... And all, like, the conspiracies and shit like that. And, like, mama, a fucking, like, movie set, a TV set, like, any... They should not have these many conspiracies and shit. No. Like, your shit should go swimmingly. Yeah, some shit can go wrong on set. But it should not be to, like, some... I don't know, some crazy-ass extent like that. Like, even recently, like, with Alex Baldwin getting a real fucking gun on set... And, like, unaliving somebody, like, completely. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Which is crazy because it's, like, that. You know how, like, as a kid, like, when you watch movies with, like, people getting shot, you always thought, like, oh my god, that actor, like, actually probably got killed. And then, like, it actually happens, and you're like, oh. Yeah. That's crazy because I thought that was just a stunt. Yeah. That's wild.
No, it's really fucking insane. But it's... And honestly, we could go on... talking about Quiet on Set all day, but I want to talk about just a little bit more about Drake Bell.
Yeah, we totally should talk about Drake Bell.
Just a little bit of the controversy. So, in my personal opinion, and in the fucking law's opinion, what he did in 2021 did happen. It's just the main, like, mainstream and shit like that. They did take a lot of things out of context and ran with them. But at the end of the day, he still was messaging under a 16-year-old. It wasn't anything sexual, but in my mind, you're still emotionally cheating on your wife. Like, he was fully married at this point. Yeah. And if I'm ever at a level of fame where, like, people know my fucking name, like, I'm a household name, mama, I'm not going into my DMs answering anybody. Fucking anybody. And it's
unless
like...
you got a blue check and you didn't just pay for it with Meta Verified.
It's like... And I was watching this TikTok the other day, and it's like, they were like, oh, well, fuck you guys, like, da-da-da, like, Drake Bell didn't even do it, and, like, they showed a picture of the 16-year-old, which, like, she did look older, but also, this is what kind of, like, fucks me up, is she's a black girl. So, in my mind, what people are doing now to her is, like, trying to age her up, which always, like, happens in the media and shit like that, like, treating black people as older.
Which is like, no, they're still kids.
It's like, yeah, so, okay, she looks fucking 21 then. I looked 21 when I was 16. Yeah. I lied when I was 16. That doesn't make anything that, like, that's still on the adult. At the end of the day, that's still on the adult. That's why these laws are in place. Exactly. And he fucked up and he did it. I'm not saying it was anything sexual, because it wasn't. But he did get fucking charged. But then, like, somebody in the TikTok was like, that's just crazy to be like, talking about like somebody who's a victim saying that they're an abuser. I'm like, is it crazy?
But here's the thing.
Have you heard about any serial killer ever?
That's what I was gonna say. That's the thing that sucks with fucking trauma is it
Like,
becomes a
it's
cycle.
a cycle.
You get
It's
abused
a
as a
cycle of
kid and you
abuse.
become the fucking abuser as an adult. That's why it's like,
And I'm
don't
not-
fuck with kids
yeah.
because you're gonna make these fucking kids grow
Yeah.
up to be fucking molesters.
And it's like, I'm
fucking
not
pedophiles.
saying like Drake Bell did what had happened to him as a fucking child.
Absolutely not.
But still, like, however fucking, whatever way you want to spin it, if I'm ever at that level of fame, I'm a household name, like, people are coming to my meet and greets, like, and she apparently, like, they'd been texting for years, and she was coming to his meet and greets, but he, like, she went to every one of his meet and greets, but he never knew it was her.
Mm-hmm.
Still, it's too fucking risky, bro. Like, if I'm a household name like that, I am never fucking going in my DMs talking to fucking, you could be my biggest fan on the planet, peace and love, kisses. I'm not getting into like whether it be some Colleen Ballinger type of shit where you're like literally
she was crazy though.
Yeah, where you're like literally in like a group chat with a bunch of children like sending Trisha Paytas's nudes and talking sexually to children, or whether it be a Drake Bell situation. There are these laws in place for a reason. You don't talk to fucking kids for a reason because they're both in the wrong. Absolutely, they are both in the wrong, but also to turn and to be like, oh, this 16-year-old, like, she was a liar, she did this, she did that.
That's crazy.
Name a 16-year-old who doesn't lie. Like,
but it's also
name a 16-year-old who doesn't fucking lie. And like, especially if you're getting a chance to meet somebody who you've loved for years and who you've been obsessed with, this is your fucking like meet, like, you're gonna lie.
Oh, of course.
You're gonna lie to get close to that fucking person. Duh.
Which
like,
at that point,
it
would unfortunately be on Drake to be like, I'm the adult, I should not let this persist.
Absolutely.
Which sucks, but like...
Absolutely.
At the same time, I feel like there's also that like subconscious sense of like maybe a little bit of vengeance of like, well, this happened to me, so...
Even if she was fully of age, you're still cheating on your wife.
Yeah,
That's still not morally okay.
No,
like,
fully not.
So... whatever happened was, and he even admits this in the show. He even admitted he fucked up in the show, and like, so that's what I can take from this. And it doesn't take away from his abuse as a child. But I did just want to mention that that shit does happen. There is a cycle of abuse, and like the people who are being like hella Drake, like avid offenders and shit like that, like, that's fine, defend him. But in this specific situation, he was fucking wrong.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
He was fully wrong. Fully in the wrong.
In that position, for sure, he was fully wrong. But at the end of the day, it does suck that he had ever even considered this due to probably what he had
Absolutely.
gone through.
It's like, I can still have empathy for him and his situation and everything he went through. However, I can also, at the same time, be like, what you did was not okay.
Absolutely.
Again, it's like the shit that happened to Ed Gein or like John Wayne Gacy. It's like, they were abused hella in their fucking childhood, and then they unfortunately became abusers.
Exactly.
Like, and terrorized other fucking people's lives and shit like that. Like, it really is a cycle. So to sit on your high horse and be like, to call a victim a fucking abuser is disgusting. It's like, I understand where you're coming from, but it's really not that far off because it does happen all the fucking time.
Exactly. You either, if you're like, go through shit like that, you either do the exact opposite or you do the same thing. Like, if you see, like, if you get abused, you watch a bunch of drug addicts, you either become the drug addict and the abuser, or you
like
the
start
exact opposite, and you're like, I could never.
And you, like, start a whole thing, and you, like, go out of your way to make sure other people don't go through it. Like, it's really...
Exactly.
Honestly, the abuse is, like, two sides of the same coin. So it's, like, I can have empathy, and I can, like, understand a situation and, like, fucking feel for him, like... Watching him during that documentary and watching his dad fucking cry and having, like, finally whenever his abuser was arrested and done, and then having Drake's dad say, like, well, I'm glad it wasn't you, fucking broke me.
Oh, for sure.
Fucking
having your parents say that to you
broke
when you
me.
know,
When you know it was you.
Like, fully.
It's like, it was like a shot to the fucking gut. Like, that shit hurt so bad. I was like, so I can't even imagine being Drake's fucking dad at that point.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of, like, nitty-gritty that goes into it, and it's really fucking upsetting that this shit has to happen. I was thoroughly surprised that it was Drake.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't think it was going to be Drake. But what, because at first when I saw the first couple bit, I thought the whole thing was just strictly about Dan Schneider. I didn't know they were going to get into like, I didn't know that there was going to be fucking so many people to let these kids down.
Me neither. Which, like, how many kids, like, maybe, like, some kids weren't fully abused, but the fact that they were put in such uncomfortable positions with, like, on-air dares.
Yeah, some kids weren't fully abused, but also, like, Giovanni, like, it was her birthday, and she gets a birthday cake too big, so you're a grown man yelling in her face that you don't deserve this cake. Like,
which is crazy.
It's my fucking 13th birthday on set. Like, I'm here on set. I'm about to go on and make fucking more money for you. God forbid I share some cake with my cast and crew, like my fucking friends. Like,
it's not like she coordinated it. It's not like she ordered the cake.
It's like, I want the biggest cake known to, like, it's like somebody just brought her a fucking cake because it was her birthday. So to like, and again, like, that abuse isn't as extreme as the other abuse. It's still abuse, though.
Oh, fully.
Like,
fully.
Having a grown man in your fucking yelling your face. I've had that shit happen when I was like 12, 13.
Not fun.
That shit sticks with you. It's not fun. It definitely is like some shit that you will fucking remember.
Oh, for sure.
It's like over a cake.
Yeah. Which is wild.
On her birthday.
It's like, okay, for fuck's sake, dude. Like, because we don't make enough money to afford this cake. Y'all are crazy.
Like, oh yeah, we can't afford a fucking 24-inch sheet cake. Bring it back. Like,
it's like, okay, and also your fat ass isn't gonna have a fucking single fucking piece of it.
It's like,
if you're gonna act like that, then
it's like, okay, you love to play the fat kid. Exactly. Actually, because he could understand that being made fun of for being fat wasn't okay, but he doesn't understand making fun of women isn't okay. He doesn't understand making fun of black people isn't okay. He doesn't understand any of that. Doesn't understand inappropriate jokes aren't okay.
Nope.
But once the joke's back on him, and once people are criticizing him, and he gets cast as the fat kid, then he's like, I'm better than this.
Yeah, that's why I will sit here.
You're not better than shit, Jack.
Yeah, that's like why I will sit here and make fun of your weight because you're a fucking asshole. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's like, I'm not fucking like that. I'm not a fat phobic type of bitch.
Oh, no, me neither. Like, that shit's fucked up, but to you.
Mama, to you, I will fucking. I will go after your ass day and night.
Yeah, like to a little black girl over a fucking cake when she already probably, like she talks about, already kind of felt marginalized on set, and then you're gonna go to her and do that.
Which it's like, he was also fully already calling other girls fat, like on all that. Like the one girl, I think her name was Christina or something like that before. The one who was gonna get like the Amanda show, the show named after her, he was like, yeah, you guys are gaining too much weight.
Yeah, she's like, we already have one fat girl on the show.
Yeah, we already have a fat one, which, first of all, imagine being the girl who's referred to as, we already have a fat one.
So, like, maybe he wasn't that conscious about fat jokes either.
Yeah, because, maybe he isn't the best dictator of what should be fucking, of what's okay and what's not. Yeah. Oh, it hurts my feelings when the fat joke's on me, but when the fat joke's on a little 10-year-old girl, haha, little fat girl. Yeah. It's like, you're a fat fucking grown man. Yeah. Fuck you. She's 10. She can't help it. You're grown. Hit the gym, bud. Yeah.
And you have the money.
And you have literally the money, the funds, literally everything at your fucking fingertips.
Yeah. You have all the resources to be fit, so.
Girl, go hit the gym. Yeah. You really want to sit here and talk about a 10-year-old girl's appearance? Mama, I'll talk about your appearance.
But I know all you did was eat half that sheet cake.
We can play all day. Yeah, exactly. It's like you're sitting here complaining because everybody else got half the cake and there's half of it left and you're mad you didn't get fucking 3/4.
Yeah, like, no, you fucking put that bitch in the fridge and you ate it throughout the rest of the fucking week.
I know your fucking fat ass fully took it back to your office. Don't even need a fucking fork. Don't need a plate. You went hands in. I know your fat ass did.
And that sat in the fucking fridge for about 2 weeks until you finished it. Or a week. Oh, if not, even a few days.
I think he got it down fast.
Probably.
He seems like the type.
Absolutely.
Seems like the type to eat an entire sheet cake in one sitting.
Yeah, for real.
To yourself.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Gianna!
No, for real.
I was like, okay, fucking fatty.
No, for real. Yeah.
We already have a fat one. His name is Dan Schneider. Yeah, he's actually in charge of the show. We already have a fat one. He's fucking rotund and huge and a bitch.
It's like, actually, he's been talking about himself the whole time. He's the one that's actually fucking
disgusting. And listen, I'm not no skinny bitch either, but mama, I know I'm a big girl. Bitch, you want to come? But also, honestly, Dan Schneider, let's have a cunt off. Battle of the cunt. I will read him under a fucking book.
No, for real. But also, I've never heard you shit on anybody's body ever. Or anybody ever, for that matter. Unless if they really, truly, fully deserve it, like we are right now.
If you if you're a fully grown fucking man and you're gonna go after a little fucking girl like that, mama, you better expect tenfold that shit to happen to you.
Yeah.
That you better.
At the least.
I think you're a fat piece of shit.
Absolutely. Disgusting.
Your arteries are clogged. Yeah. You stink. Like, I can literally smell you through my screen. I bet you smell like cream cheese and ass.
Yeah.
Like, just fucking disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Deuces. Like, I'm good, brother.
Yeah. Unfortunately, fuck you. We'll have to dive into it a lot more because we're already an hour and 4 in.
Yeah,
so
but if you do want to hear us talk more about Quiet on Set and, like, we can get more into, like, our fucking notes because we only got into literally the bare minimum
like
of this
maybe
shit.
Half.
Like,
maybe.
if even half. So there's a lot of fucking... It's good. Again, go watch it for yourself if you haven't. Duh. Come back and watch this. And then if you guys want us to talk more about it, we fucking will. Absolutely. Because I've got a lot to say about these fuckers, like, and now that it's out, like, on TV and other people are saying it, now I'm allowed to say it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And I won't get sued, so thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for listening to our long rant.
Yes, the Femme Fiasco podcast is so appreciative of you listening to the Quiet on Set rant today, but we'll be back with some way fun content. If you see us in the same outfits next episode, don't be freaked out.
Don't freak out. Well, we love you guys. Again, thank you for listening. Yes. Happy late Easter.
Happy late ass Easter, yeah.
Happy late Ramadan.
Ramadan? Oh, that might have been offensive. I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to. I might have said Ramadan offensively. I'm so sorry. Okay, well, I love you. I don't know. I love you guys.
We'll have to play it back. Happy everything. Just stay safe. Keep your kids safe. And we fucking love you guys.
Love you so much. Love you. Bye.